Hey everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun scroll saw project video, have an amazing tropical design from the big book of scroll saw woodworking. Now, at the time of this book's publication by Fox Chapel Publishing, it featured the very best of scroll saw woodworking and crafts magazine, packed with more than 60 amazing projects representing all styles of projects that are able to be made over on the amazing scroll saw. And the design in question we're going to be making today comes on page 149, and it says Fish Fretwork, a design suitable for a child's room or beachside cottage. And I want to go on and give a thanks to Miss Ellen Brown for the amazing design. And in the book they have a visual representation of what their project looked like, and just below this image is the pattern itself. And it says photocopy at 100%, and you can see it's about as big as the palm of my hand there, so it's a very small pattern. But with all scroll saw patterns, everything is open to artist interpretation. So what I've done was imported the pattern into my computer, and I printed it out as big as I could on a piece of standard computer paper, and here we have it. It has been enlarged, and you can see actually that with this size it's about the same size as the cover of the book itself, but it's got some amazing detail in it. It has a bigger central fish here, and it looks like he's chasing his lunch or dinner, surrounded by several smaller fish, and then the algae, kelp, and seaweed that is down in their aquatic world. But it has a very nice artistic nature. The pattern, as I said, was printed out and attached to the material with clear packing tape, and we're going to be going about things a little bit differently in today's video. I feel that if you didn't even like fish, you could still make this project if you like stuff with an artistic flair and nature, which of course this project has. But we're going to be cutting out two different thicknesses of material, and the main focus of today's video and what we're going to actually be finishing is this 3/4 inch thick piece of cabinet grade plywood that is laminated with oak on the front and back side, and on top of that I've got locked in securely a piece of the standard 1/4 inch material I like to use for a lot of projects here. So we're going to get two projects for the time it takes to cut out one. It's going to be around 1 inch thick of material we're going to be scrolling, so we're going to take our time and let the blade do the work. But the 3/4 inch thick piece here is going to be able to easily freestand on a shelf, desk, or countertop without the need of any supports once it gets done. And then the thinner one, which is going to be a lot more fragile due to the nature of some of the details in it, can be attached to a backer board and hung on a wall, once again showing off a scroll saw pattern's amazing versatility. But it's really, really cool. As you can see, I've got little brad nails locking that piece of 1/4 inch material onto the oak material, and I made sure that the nails were not long enough to where they would poke through on the back side, because you do not want them to scratch or mar up the scroll saw table. But I figured this was a nice summertime project to come out here and make and document, and you guys know I like artistic projects, and it's even in the same vein as a little miniature diorama, and you guys know how much I like to make them. But since everything is pretty much prepped and ready to go, let's move the camera, drill our pilot holes, and get started. And over here on the workbench, we are going to take the Seiko Scrollers drill and drill out all of the pilot holes for internal cutting. And there is a multitude of interior cuts on this project. And you will note that I have a backer board behind the scroll work to prevent blowout of the pilot holes. But after all the pilot holes are drilled, we will come over to the scroll saw and begin scrolling. And as always, I'll begin with some of the smaller interior cuts before proceeding to the bigger ones. For all of the scrolling on this project, I will be using a number 5 Ultra reverse tooth blade, and they will cut through both pieces of the stack material here exceptionally well with minimal chip out. And keep in mind, we are cutting out through the 1/4 inch layer that is on top and the 3/4 inch thicker cabinet grade plywood that is behind that. So in actuality, we are scrolling through 1 inch thick material here, so it is a slower than normal cut. So I am of course taking my time and letting the blade do the work. But when I was thumbing through the big book of scroll saw woodworking by Fox Chapel Publishing, and this design came into the pages, I was like, I have to make this. It's such a beautiful tropical design, and you don't even have to like fish to cut this project out. This is also a very artistic design, and you can go that route with finishing it if you choose to do so. I hope you guys have appreciated that I have been trying out some different angles for filming over at the scroll saw, trying to get you guys as close to the action, so to speak, as possible. But again, with it being a 1-inch thick piece of material we are cutting out here, essentially, it is a very slow cut, and I think it took me around 2 hours to scroll this project out from start to finish. It was just a very nice and relaxing cut. We are in the heat of summer, so I had the fans on me, I had my dust mask and ear protection on, and I had some good music going, and got lost in my world of sawdust. But here we are doing the final internal cut. Again, taking my time and letting the blade do the work. And then it will be time to release both pieces that we are working on here from the waste wood. And before we get to that, I will actually change out the scroll saw blade. Cutting through 1-inch thick material dulls a scroll saw blade very quickly, and we went through a few cutting out this project. But now we are doing that final long outside release cut, just following that outside perimeter, again being as loyal as we can be to the cut line. If you guys like what you're seeing, I would highly encourage you to subscribe to my channel and also follow me across all my social medias under the Artisan Pirate name. I'd really appreciate the support. Again, it was a slower than normal cut for me, but again, I was just enjoying working over at the scroll saw. And this is where having the scroll saw on a tilted angle really comes into a factor, so to speak, for reducing neck and shoulder strain, especially for a longer than normal scrolling session. But once we come around on this side, all of the scroll saw work will be complete. And then we can proceed to sanding and finishing. Over here on the workbench, I will carefully separate the two pieces because that top piece of 1/4-inch material is very fragile due to all the details in it. But we will take the main piece we are working on, which is the 3/4-inch cabinet grade plywood, and take it to sanding with 180 grit Klingspor Woodworking Shop sandpaper and the palm sander here. And I'm being as careful as I can be to not sand through that thin oak veneer. But once I am happy with everything, we took the project out into the summer sun and gave it several coats of Rust-Oleum clear gloss, and that oak grain really popped in, and when it dried, the project was complete. And here we have the completed tropical fretwork fish scene, cut out completely from start to finish over on the scroll saw, and it finished up amazingly well with some beautiful and creative artistic tropical scenery in it. Really, really cool. It took me around 2 hours to scroll this project out from start to finish. There is some tedious details in this project, and because we were not only cutting out the 3/4-inch piece that I finished and I'm showing you here, but because we stack cut with that additional 1/4-inch layer, it was in total 1-inch thick material we were scrolling out. So it was a very slow cut, and I of course took my time and let the blade do the work, and I went through a few scroll saw blades cutting this beautiful tropical piece out. I want to once again thank Miss Ellen Brown for this amazing and creative design from the book that I will show you momentarily. But it finished up great. All of the little details are cute to notice and everything. The big fish in the middle, all of the algae and kelp and coral and everything, and then all of the little additional fish surrounding that big fish. And because this piece that we finished in today's video is 3/4 inches in thickness, it can easily freestand of its own accord on a shelf, desk, or countertop. But if you wanted to go the extra mile, as with all scroll saw projects, you could of course add a nice decorative and tropical base to it as well if you chose to do so. But really, really neat. And as you've seen in today's video, I did not add no additional color, paint, stain, or anything like that because I love how oak finishes up naturally, and that's just what I done after sanding it carefully over at my little sanding area. I took it right outside and gave it several coats of Rust-Oleum clear gloss, and it really made that cabinet grade plywood with that oak laminate really pop. And another reason I stack cut in today's video was to not only get an additional one that I can put a backer board on for it to hang on the wall, but to also hopefully protect that oak laminate. That is a very thin veneer on the front and back side of this piece. It's about 2 or 3 millimeters in thickness, and I didn't want to have to worry about it possibly chipping away during the scroll saw process. That's why I firmly attached the 1/4" material on top and then used those brad nails to really lock it in place, and then the pattern was attached to this piece here to hopefully protect it. And I'm happy to say it really protected that oak veneer, and it sanded and finished up amazingly well. Of course, that's why I use a vibrating palm sander, because a lot of these details here are very fragile, and they're even more fragile with the 1/4" thickness due to the thinness of the material there. But that vibrating palm sander really helps you get in there and carefully sand everything, as opposed to the aggressive nature of an orbital sander, if that makes any sense. But of course, with all projects like this, you can go above and beyond. You could put resin down in it, you could paint it, you could stain it. I still think it came out amazing in today's video, and as I said, I've still got this one to finish behind the scenes, behind the camera, so to speak. And whenever I ultimately do finish this one, I will of course post it to all my social medias to where you guys can view it and hopefully enjoy it. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching me make today's video. Once again, the design we cut out today came from the Big Book of Scroll Saw Woodworking by Fox Chapel Publishing. It's an amazing book packed with over 60 amazing designs, and they're not all tropical designs. They go through all aspects of scroll saw woodworking to really give you a good leg up if you've never had any lessons or anything. And this book has great articles and instructions on how to bring all the designs in here to life. And the pattern, of course, that we done in today's video came from page 149. And again, thank you, Miss Ellen Brown, for this amazing and creative design here. And as you can see, I made it a lot bigger than originally intended, but of course, if you want to and really challenge yourself, you could photocopy it to that size as well if you wanted to, and really cut out something nice and creative in a more miniature style aspect. But of course, as I said, this also lends itself to being another little diorama, and I'm really happy with how it came out. And again, I hope you guys like watching me make this tropical design for the summer. But really, really cool. I had a lot of fun in today's video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to it, and also follow me across all my social medias under the Artisan Pirate name. As always, links to contact me as well as all my social medias will always be linked down in the description box below these videos. That's about all for this one, and remember guys, if I can make it or do it, so can you. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care, and I'll see you guys real soon.